Guys, this song is just a jam. Jess found this and I am digging it. Good morning, friends. I'm your host, Carl, and y'all, I am coming to you live from the backyard of my Airbnb at my sister's wedding in Phoenix, Arizona. That's right, I saw that nasty storm headed to the northeast, so I hopped on a plane so that your boy could get some sun. Now, that probably means that I'm gonna get burned. Guys, thanks so much for joining us this week. This has been an amazing conversation. We've been so happy to have Diego join and to have Cara join. Make sure to go check out Liberty United. Make sure to check out everytown.org and be giving support to all these wonderful organizations that are trying to end gun violence. Also, make sure you like our Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like us on YouTube. There we go. Y'all, it's all good. I'm here trying to get some sun, probably getting burned because I haven't seen the sun in 6 months. But you know what? That's great. I'm willing to make that trade-off. I am so excited that you guys are joining us this morning. We have such an exciting show for you. You know, BU Breakdown was created to give artists a platform to discuss topics that are important to us on a worldwide scale. Our literal job is to put ourselves in other people's shoes. And then create a point of view. And so that's what we're going to do here on this show. So, guys, to get us started, I'm going to introduce our first guest. We have one of our favorite panelists on this show. He is the creative director of our dreams, the original, the incomparable, Jermaine Blackwell. Let's toss Jermaine Blackwell up here. Jermaine, what's up, dude?
You always give me so much to live up. The creative director of your dreams. I need more money if I'm going to be doing that.
I had some dreams the other night that were kind of messed up, and I was like, this is Jermaine's doing. He did this.
It was my fault. You know, you really made me angry, so I had to let you have it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's understandable. I do that sometimes. Y'all, I'm kind of annoying in that Slack feed. I get it. I'm just in there. I work a receptionist gig, and so I'm just in there all day long because I'm bored.
Right. Really. I mean, one of the things about being a starving or not so starving artist is that you got to have a survival job. You got to make that money so that you can pay the rent.
Have to pay the rent. And y'all, if you can find yourself a job that gives you health care, that is you hold on to that.
That just happened to me like about 2-3 weeks ago. And believe me, I'm getting all the tests, all the vaccines.
Yes.
Like my arm is still sore.
I got to go see a dermatologist when I get back. And I'm not going to have to give him my leg to be able to see him. It's great.
I'll go see a leg doctor if I need to. I mean, listen, it's not really free, but like I didn't have insurance for a while, which is a whole nother show that we'll do. But serious, I got like a tetanus vaccine, a pneumonia vaccine, a flu vaccine, and like literally just like, shoot me up. You put it all in there, all the vaccines.
So long story short, I actually a while ago did an NPR interview about healthcare, and I actually had a guy on Facebook like search, I guess, every Carl Glenn that's like on the planet living in New York City to find me to like be like, look, you need to work hard for your job. And like, if you're deciding to take jobs that don't give you healthcare, that's your own fault. And I was like, dude, is this really what your life is?
Yeah, that must be tough. I feel like this is an episode that we need to like look at in the future, because the idea that like people who are like even most servers people don't realize don't have health insurance, and to like insinuate that they're not working hard when they're in those restaurants day in and day out and they don't deserve health insurance somehow.
We're putting that on the docket. Y'all check back in a week or two. We're going to be talking about healthcare. That's going to be it. So this week we have a couple people on. Jermaine, we got some big names. We got Diego Pfeiffer, who's a Parkland student, and we got Cara Buono. I'm a little intimidated.
I mean, they're the most important that we should be talking to, and I'm really glad that we have them.
Yeah. I mean, I think that they are going to be incredibly insightful. I do have to let you know that I had a lot of fraternity brothers who texted me this week who was like, wait, you got the hot mom from Stranger Things coming on? And I was like, y'all. Straight boys. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, so I was like, well, she might do like a couple other things that's important. Maybe you should watch and we'll talk about those things.
Right. They will learn that she is a beautiful person inside and out, and that we should look more than just skin deep, because she's doing some deep shit.
She's doing some things. You know, I think it's about time to get them on here. So
cool.
let's toss them up here. Our first person that I'm going to introduce is Diego Pfeiffer. Diego is a student from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School who's been protesting gun violence across the country. Diego is also a big fan of musical theater and is looking to get his degree in it starting next fall. Diego, what's going on, man?
Hey, it's all good here. We're all pushing through. We're all happy to be making a difference, and I'm pretty happy to be on this show. Good to talk with all of you.
Awesome, dude. We are literally so excited to be here. I don't know if you saw the video that I made, but after I got off the phone with you, when you said that you were going to come on, I kind of freaked out a little bit because I got really excited. So if you want to watch an embarrassing video of me, it's on our Facebook page and you can go check it out later on. Next up, we have Cara Buono. Cara is the founder of Liberty United, which transforms illegal guns confiscated by police into jewelry and accessories. And donations from every sale go to help at-risk kids who are growing up with gun violence. Each piece bears the serial number of the destroyed gun. And Liberty United's programs now protect and educate more than 3,000 at-risk children. You might also know her, as my fraternity brothers do, as Karen Wheeler on Stranger Things. Cara, sorry, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be here and see all you guys here. I love talking about artists pursuing any artistic endeavor. It's really great, Diego, to pursue your dreams. And I work with, you know, as a rape crisis counselor, as a CVTC advocate as well. But my other job after acting is working on Liberty United. So we started Liberty United in 2012. And so we've been working on the gun issue for 6 years. It's something that's really, really important to me and my husband, Peter Thum, who founded it. So I'm always kind of sad to be coming and talking about it, but I think it's so amazing that the teenagers have, you know, just started this incredible movement. And I really believe that you guys are going to be the change makers. And I get goosebumps thinking about what's going to happen. I'm trying to think of the word. Yeah. what can really happen now going forward. So I'm really thrilled to be here.
We're thrilled to have you. I mean, that's the exact thing we're trying to do on the breakdown, is we're trying to have these conversations that are kind of difficult and kind of hard, but that are so important. But before we get all to that important stuff, I realized that we have some Broadway fans all on the same channel this morning. So I figure that we should start off with a little bit of a softball question. So guys, if you could choose one Broadway show to be in for the rest of your life, what show and what role would that be? Jermaine, I'm going to throw it to you first.
Well, people ask me this question. I don't know if it's been written yet, but I will just say, let me think. I think people always ask, do I have a dream role? And I think the closest thing to a dream role that I have is Angels in America, Belize. Yeah, I think that's about it right now. I mean, in regards to musical theater, I keep getting called back in for Aladdin and not booking the job as for the genie. So
I could see that.
Yeah.
Right? I literally
years. They keep calling me back and I'm like, why not booking it?
Jermaine is like semi the Titus Burgess role from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, just without like the absolute craziness. It's just like he's right for that role. Somebody's just got to write it for him. If you're watching this show, write a role for Jermaine. He's a star.
Thank you. Oh, well, thank you.
Diego, what is your dream role?
I've always been teared between two that I would really, really like. So can I name them both? Because I can't pick which one.
We'll take them both. All
right. So first one, got to stay true to my Hispanic roots. It's Monty Navarro from A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. Absolutely love the show. Absolutely hilarious. And the other one is just my favorite show. I love the music. I love the actors. I love everything. It's the Phantom for Phantom of the Opera.
Wow.
Okay. That's a money role. That's also probably never going to be off Broadway.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Those are contenders. Cara, what about you?
Oh my gosh. You know, my dreams always I wish I could sing like Broadway singers, because I just would have been a musical theater actress. I just think it's such a gift to be able to do it. Actually, when I go see plays, any play but musicals, I start crying. So I just think, oh, it's so amazing what they're doing. So I guess I don't sing. I'd want to be in probably some Chekhov play. Maybe not for the, I mean, I guess it's sort of like therapy. You just kind of, you're always so sad, and, you know, a lot of agony, or, you know, Cat in a Hot Tin Roof, play Maggie, and just kind of be in that state of being, because then you can just all leave it at the theater, you know?
Yeah, totally.
That's
and also, I feel like when you like use that much emotion on stage, it's just like a release. Like, you're just like, great, I don't have to feel anything for the next like 8 hours. This is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's just there. You can just feel it in the biggest way, and no one's telling you to, you know, pull it back.
Totally. For me, I try and think of like, what's a role that I could do every day and like never get tired of it. And for a while, like, I have everybody tell me that I should be Harold Hill in The Music Man, which I get. Sure. I'm a talker. I talk a lot. I get that. But I normally go with the Baker and Into the Woods. I could do that every day for the rest of my life. And
which
be
is
happy.
actually on my TV right now. Hold on. Can you see that? It's on my TV right now.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Well, tell Meryl Streep what's good.
Okay, Meryl, he loves you.
I know she loves me too. I hear you, Meryl. Well, guys, so if you are just joining us, we're here with Diego Pfeiffer and Cara Buono and Jermaine Blackwell, and we're going to be talking about gun violence. So real quick, we got people coming in all over the place. My fiance is watching us in the other room. Kelly Weaver's watching us. We got some of my friends. We got Sarah Kleiss. We got Josh Cotham, Sarah McGowan. People are tuning in from all over the place. Alec Brown just joined us. He's just a little goblin, but I love him so dearly. And we're really excited. I'm going to try and scoot over so I'm a little bit out of this shadow. And
wearing sunscreen.
Girl, I'm gonna get burned to a crisp, but you know what? It's better than that storm in the Northeast right now, I feel like.
Yeah, heard about that.
Right? It's crazy. Well, guys, let's hop on into this thing. Let's hop on in. So for the topic this week, we decided that we kind of wanted to leave it to Diego. And so we asked him a question, he gave us an answer, and we're going to start from there. So I asked him, what is one thing that you wish people understood about your cause that they still don't seem to understand? And Diego's answer was, I wish people could see what a difference gun control would make in the world and see past just barrels and bullets to see the people they are aimed at. Diego, why do you think that people still don't understand this?
People seem to be really just encased in their own little world that, oh, guns are going to keep us safe. Guns are going to keep everybody from shooting each other, when in reality, that's just not really how it works. You buy a gun to shoot somebody or to possibly shoot somebody. And by the way, more times than likely, you are more likely to shoot yourself than you are to shoot any other assailant that you might. Yeah. Hello?
You there?
Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
we froze for a second.
We froze for. All right. I was just saying that. Okay. I was just saying that you are 2 times as more likely to shoot yourself when you buy a gun when you shoot somebody else. So people are locked in this idea that guns keep us safe, when really they're just the ones that are putting bullets in the air.
Yeah. I mean, that's a real thing. I think that, you know, we're at such a crosshairs with things because of like the constitutional rights and all that. And I think that, you know, there are a lot of people across the country who use guns for protection and who use guns for hunting, and they use them as tools. But I think that we're obviously at a point where things are really getting out of hand, you know, like, and we can't just keep doing the same things we've been doing, because obviously that's not working for us. So I guess that what I would say is, Cara, from your work, have you noticed some like things that you believe that legislators could do to start making a difference and start bringing this gun violence under control a little bit?
Absolutely. I think that, you know, like you said, there's a reflexive reaction from people who want to own guns, who think, well, I hunt and I'm a responsible gun owner. And there are many, of course, there are many responsible gun owners. I have family members who were hunters, and they had hunting season and they have, you know, reasons to have guns. But I feel like I can't, there is no legitimate reason that anyone needs to own an automatic weapon that is used in war. That is not meant to hunt, or if it's, one might argue it's to protect yourself, but we don't need that as protection. So I think banning assault rifles would make a major impact in people's safety in this country. And also making it much harder to obtain a gun, raising the legal age from 18 to 21. And making it, I mean, it's so difficult to get a license for a car. I mean, you know, Diego,
it seems so wild how easy it is.
You have to go to school and you have to get a permit, and then you have to go for many tests. And it just seems common sense that to own something that is deadly, you should be trained. And I think most people think here, they go, yes, of course, I should know how to operate this. I should know all the things that are, you know, safety measures for this. And I think that's something that I don't understand. I would love to understand why that seems so controversial to people, because it seems like such common sense, I think. And I think, isn't something like 93% of Americans are in favor of that? I mean,
97.
Yeah, it's popped up after the last few incidences, and I think that it's wild how easy it is. I feel like, you know, it's harder to buy Sudafed, you know, because people don't want you to make meth
or something.
It's, you know, for me, it's really interesting. I think that I've seen the argument a lot of times, and I think it's a fair argument to some extent. But people will say, you know, I am a responsible gun owner. And everybody is a responsible gun owner until they're not. Do you know what I mean? Till someone takes their gun and does something, you know, horrific. And I think that we also have to just remember that just because it hasn't happened to you doesn't mean that you have to believe in it. There seems to be a lot of lack of empathy. It's like when Dick Cheney really didn't seem to care about gay rights until he had a lesbian daughter, or Nancy Reagan didn't care about stem cell research until Ronald Reagan was going what he was going through. And I think that for me, I don't have to have cancer to know that it sucks. I don't have to lose my friend in a school shooting to know that we need to have gun reform. And if you look at Australia, you know, that happened one time, and I think it was 35 victims there. And they came together as a nation and said, no more. This is not happening again. And this is happening hundreds of times a year in this country. And I just understand, as Cara was saying, I don't understand what it would take to get people on board to understand you don't need particularly war weapons in your home.
Yeah. So guys, then I guess what the question seems is, what can we do? I think this is a strong question for Diego and Cara, because you guys are kind of on the front lines with this thing to an extent. What are things that you've noticed are helpful to try and get people to understand?
Well, I'll tell you, I've talked to a lot of different politicians and a lot of different people that are really influential on issues like these. And I will tell you that like 90% of these people are on our side, but there's still that like 10% that for some unexplainable reason, I don't get it. Whenever they bring up their own ideas, none of it ever makes any sense. Well, they're just not pro anything that we're doing. It's kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie, because I've talked to these people, and some of their responses were, "Oh, we can't go too far with this because then we'll just keep going farther and farther and farther." Okay, well, we have to start at least somewhere. Another one was, "Oh, I have a friend who hasn't been able to do anything because he got evicted for doing pot in the 70s, and now he can't vote or do anything." Excuse me, you just compared a pot addict to a mass shooter. None of their explanations make any sense, but yet they have clout, yet they're talking. The real idea that we need to do right now is go into these people's minds and really try to convince them on reality, try to convince them on what's actually happening out here, because they're just lost in their own little world, I think.
I think something that you had said, Diego, that I read about was that you'll almost take anything right now, like one step, like one change, raise the legal age. I think that this horrible shooting has been a real catalyst in the change of the hearts and minds of a lot of people and corporations. I think realistically, it's going to be a slow start. One thing that Liberty United has started to do is make pens out of gunmetal, which is one of my favorite. It's not all gunmetal, but it's one of my favorite pieces because I really believe the pen is mightier than the sword. And I feel that it may not happen overnight, but I think getting out there and voting and getting involved in your local politics, in your state politics. And I think it's the next generations that are coming up who are going to be coming up to the legal age to vote, and all this great energy getting in there to change the people in there to make these decisions to change, because it seems like the current status quo is really not going to budge. But I feel like the future wave that's coming is really going to make a big difference.
I would totally agree with that. So I actually, a little while ago, had the privilege. My sister works in Alabama, and she knows a woman named Anne, who is kind of the state representative for Moms Demand Action, which is a gun violence prevention group that's doing a lot of great work. And one of the things that she mentioned legislation-wise that they're really starting to look into are these red flag laws that talk about how if someone is showing signs of being dangerous, that they should that there should be some sort of ability for police to step in before they do something. Because currently in the law, you can't do something to a potential criminal, right? And I understand that that's a very slippery slope in a lot of ways. But it seems like there are certain people, including the person who perpetrated the shooting at Parkland, who were somewhat known to be a danger. And I feel like that is definitely something that most people would be on board with. Someone that everyone's worried about shouldn't be able to get things that can harm other people, right?
Mm-hmm. Or I would assume at the very least, right? Or at the very least, not making the assumption that just because they may seem troubled, like getting them the help to figure out and getting them counseling if they need it, or like some kind of assessment of like, where are they? Like, obviously, like one of the problems seems to be is that with all of these shootings, there's been someone who's been saying like, hey, this person was not right at the time, or something was not wrong, or they're angry. We as a community, I think, need to also understand that we're in this together. And so if you see something, say something. So if you see someone who's like, oh, he's saying some pretty problematic stuff, then what's the next step of that? Is the next step to say, hey, let's go to the parents, and then the parents say, okay, maybe we need to offer them free counseling so that they're not going back into schools or going back onto the streets so that they then cause problems.
Yeah, and increase funding for mental health in all levels in our country.
Right.
Really helpful.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you know, that seems to be something that that a lot of people who are against some of this gun violence reform keep saying is they're like, it's a mental health issue. Mental health is happening, or health issues happen around the world. And so, you know, there's still somewhere there's a difference between what we're doing and what other countries are doing. And part of that is that people who have mental health issues here don't get any kind of help. You know, we have to, you're right, Cara, I think we have to start also reaching out to people and taking care of people in our community who don't have the, I guess you could say, mental resources that some of the rest of us have to be able to deal with these emotions and these thoughts and these things.
And also not demonizing and making people ashamed of any mental health situation they might be in. I mean, we also have to remember that most people who are having mental health issues are not the aggressors. They're the ones being aggressed upon. And so, yes, there is a point, there is a validity to that argument that, like, a lot of these people, some of them are just straight bad people, and then some of them have mental health issues, and that's a fact. But we also want to make sure that we don't, as a nation, lump and start demonizing and rounding up people who have mental health issues.
Yeah, 100%. It's all that. Yeah, it's mental health is obviously one facet that we have to go upon this, but we also can't let all these ideas about mental health, and they're great ideas, and please, let's pursue some of them, but at the same time, we can't let it distract from another big problem. The reason that we have all of these shootings is because America has one of the most guns per acre, most guns per capita in our state. These mental health people have the most availability to get these guns, which is another big reason why we're having this problem. It's a multifaceted issue, and some people want to go about it only one way. It's just not how we got to do this. We can't distract ourselves, but we got to go about it all ways: gun safety, the mental health, and school safety. All of these things.
Yeah, totally. Well, so guys, we have some questions that people raised before this episode, and I want to start with some of those, and then we'll try and get some questions from the Facebook live feed and YouTube and all those things. The first one is coming from Sarah Kleist, who's a dear friend of mine. She's an actress in New York City. And she said, I've noticed that, this is for Diego, I've noticed that you and many of your fellow classmates are so polite yet firm when interacting with conservative viewpoints. In an age where Facebook fights are rampant, what strategies do you use to keep outside opinions in perspective and remain calm while answering these questions?
Well, our idea here is that we're A, nonpartisan, and B, we understand that everybody has their own viewpoints. And that's really the key to really talking, to understand that you and I might not have the same ideas, but we will and we can reach some sort of conclusion that would help us both. There's something out there, and I think it's that belief, that internal idea that, okay, this guy doesn't agree with me, but maybe we can find some sort of compromise, or maybe we can understand each other. It's not that we're fighting each other. We're just having a conversation, and that's what America needs to do.
Totally. I'll throw this one to Cara. So Cara, my wonderful, smart, beautiful fiance, Kelly, wants to ask, I know many people who want to get involved locally and make a difference. Other than voting, where do we start?
Oh, that's a good question. I think if you go to our website, we have some, links to organizations that you can get involved with. I think I'm trying to think, how did we start? I mean, we just formed our own organization because we didn't see anything really out there at the time. But find out what you want to do. I mean, if you don't want to be involved in a political level, you know, you can, because it's not political, but you have to get involved somehow. Go, you know, with the, you can donate money to the Parkland foundation that's been started. There's, you know, every town, there are lots of organizations that are, like you said, Moms Demand Action, that are trying to make changes on the legislative level. But that's a good question. I think it, you know, I think what it makes us realize is that the change has to come from the laws. And if you know, I mean, if we're talking about just kind of being more aware and of the people around us, and maybe, you know, when we talk about the mental health aspect of it, just in our lives or people at school, are we being aware and empathetic and paying attention to people in our lives who might be going through something? I mean, that's sort of like a general idea of being an empathetic, responsible human being, you know, that might result in discovering something or somebody's going through. Something like that.
I think on top of that, Cara, maybe also just real quick to maybe piggyback on that, is that you said other than voting was what was asked, and I think that we have to also look at pre-voting rituals, right? Like understanding that, doing the research on candidates that support the causes that you do, and also I always say this a lot in regards to my friends who ask me about race relations, and I say you have to start with cleaning your own home. You can't clean everybody else's home. When you're on an airplane and the mask comes down, they always say, put your mask on first so then you can help everybody else. And so I think that if you decide of the thing that's important to you, whether it be gun control laws, and it can be all of these things, sexual identity rights, figure out the best way to clean your own home first. So then those people that you've helped clean then go off and start cleaning other people.
Right. Well, this you know, this is something I thought about before, you know, even before Sandy Hook. And I remember my husband started a company called Fondery 47, where we take AK-47s from war zones in Africa, turn them into art, and then the money goes to fund more weapon destruction. So with my husband, we've learned we see a problem and we want to do something about it. So we started something to do that. You know, we take some guns and we turn them into jewelry, and money goes to help people. So, you know, like you said, if there's nothing out there, you see what your instincts tell you. See if there's something that you can create, or you can create with your people in your life to try to make a change of a problem that, you know, that you're passionate about. And if you can't see something that you gravitate towards, I see so many amazing people doing that today, and that's so really inspiring.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. So real quick, just to, this isn't a question, but Samantha Barboza is talking to us in Facebook Live. And what we said earlier, it's not that we're fighting each other, but we're having a conversation. She said this. It seems like no one knows how to truly sit down and have an honest to God conversation. I would hope that we all want the same thing, and that's to keep people safe. At the end of the day, we should all want that. I think she's totally right. I think that we have to realize that that we're all trying to keep each other safe, and that there has to be middle ground that we can all find for that, which is great. Our next question, this is from one of my favorite content producers over at Broadway.com. His name's Matt Roden. He's asking, how have you been or seen people using social media to amplify and repeat? So how does social media help you amplify your cause?
Well, I will tell you that social media is just one of the most efficient and one of the easiest ways to get all the information you want out there. If you want to tell anyone to tweet it for, pretty amazing how just these little devices that you see are connected to so many people and they get the message out. It's just efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's Diego, so amazing. I think that. Go ahead, guys.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead. You were about to piggyback off that. I was going to ask another question, but go ahead and ask your question first.
I was basically just going to say it's so amazing how this has really seemed to take off specifically through social media. I mean, Diego, some of your friends are like famous at this point, and it's because they are good on Twitter. Let me tell you, Emma Gonzalez says some stuff, and I'm just like at home clapping for her. And it's so much fun, which is part of it, that social media gives you this like direct outlet to the masses. That's so interesting.
Kara,
Jermaine, what were you gonna say?
No, I felt like Kara had a question too.
Oh no, I agree. It's a way to find your audience, whether they agree with you or not, and to have a continuous conversation and get your point across in a way that it's just impossible before it happened.
Right. No, I just had a question for Diego, because I remember seeing one of your classmates on TV. I mean, so many of your classmates on TV. And I think one of the things that people forget is that you guys are young adults. This is not something that happened to grown people. I mean, basically, in respect to a lot of us, you're so much younger and people might call you kids. And I just was kind of wondering, before February 14th, like February 13th, the day before the shooting, like, who were you? Like, what was the most important thing to you, and what were you up to?
I was definitely planning on a little kid production, I guess you could say. It was a children's production that we were putting on for all of the local elementary schools, and that was the big thing that I was planning towards. And I was actually going to also be doing a production of Heathers, which got canceled for kind of obvious reasons. Right. And I don't know, I was just a theater kid who always just had his mind on the next play or the next show or the next choir showcase or whatever. Excuse me. And since that day, I can tell you that I want to keep pursuing all of these things, but I definitely grew up in the span of like a week. And I've done research and I've talked to politicians who I never thought I would be speaking to. And I don't know, it's surreal, honestly, the fact that I have to go back to school tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
When did you guys start? Is it officially tomorrow for you guys starting back, or did you guys start on like last week at all?
We started on Wednesday, and we've had half days throughout the week. Wednesday through Friday were just kind of to situate us. And then Monday and Tuesday are going to be half days again, but we're actually going to jump into some curriculum.
Are there counselors at school? How's that process? Yeah. The
school is overrun with dogs. We have therapy dogs all over the place. And I gotta say, I love it because I love dogs. And even the people that are completely allergic to them are completely fine with it. It's really fun. Yeah. But other than that, we do have therapists that are roaming the campus, and we have people specifically in the classes of those that no longer have a student there, if you know what I mean. And everybody's just trying to get better and to support each other, because I mean, I know I have to sit next to an empty desk now, and it's just not a fun period anymore.
Right. Yeah. And also, who are the adults around you? Do you have good adults? Like, it seems like there should be some people like keeping you guys level and maybe being good mentors to you. Who are those people?
Everybody is kind of reaching out to us. I've got you guys. I've got my parents. I've got like tons and tons of politicians and lawyers just ringing us up or direct messaging us on Twitter. Hey guys, I would love to help you and such. And the biggest adult figures that we have are a couple of our alumni who we've known for years and years that have come down, and they're really helping us. They're really pushing us towards everything that we can be. And I love them completely, and they are in my heart now.
Good.
That's awesome. Diego, so you and I talked a little while ago about schools that you were auditioning for. Tell us what those schools are, because I got Jermaine and I everyone watching, we have friends all over the theater world. Maybe somebody can, you know, like throw some elbows and get you some help. Where are you looking to go into school?
I am so I'm not only a musical theater person, I'm also a really big like science person as well. I've got a couple of brains up here, I guess you could say. But all of the schools that I would really love to also have really good like science programs and such. So NYU is definitely one of my top schools. The biggest like pure theater school that I'm going towards is the Boston Conservatory at Berkeley, and then like I've got a ton of other schools that I just kind of went for at Unifieds, but the other three big ones would be UF, and FSU. They're just the biggest like Florida schools I can get into, just because like funding is always a hard thing when it comes to college.
Which Because there's a couple of M's.
University of Miami in Miami, Florida.
Okay, awesome.
And then FSU is Florida State University, and then UF is University of Florida.
That's awesome.
That's great. That's so like, I remember my time auditioning for schools, and it's such like an exciting time, man. That's so much fun that you're in the middle of that.
Yeah.
When do you graduate?
I graduate this June, May, something like that. It's coming up. It's coming up really, really quick. I'm a senior, so, and awesome. As for auditions, like it was fun to a certain point, but then at some point it kind of just got like, oh, I have to travel 8 hours to get to this school so that I can just drive up there and not pay for airfare. I mean, it's fun, but it's also stressful.
Just be prepared. When you move to New York, if you move to New York, it's not even more fun when the trip is only 15 minutes. It doesn't get any better.
So we have one last question that I'm going to throw up here, and it is from Hamilton actor Antoine Ramon. We were going to try and get him to join us, but the technology's still new, guys. We're still figuring things out. But Antoine asks, for Diego, what would you ask someone else contemplating an act of violence like at Parkland? What would you have to say to them?
I would ask them to look at their own family and to look at their friends if they have any. If not, then I would happily be a friend towards them. I asked them to look at these people and ask them what they would do if for some reason they died tomorrow. And I'd ask them to have perspective, because oftentimes these shooters, they only want the fame factor, or they're doing it in some sort of act of rage, and they're blind to what's going to happen next, that these families are going to lose precious children, and these children are going to lose parents. And I don't know, but I feel like if we all had a little more perspective, nothing like this would ever happen.
Yeah, that's very fair. I have one last one. I lied. So we got a question from Kate Kerrigan of Kerrigan and Loudermilk. And this kind of can go towards both Cara and Diego, so I'll let you both answer it. What can sympathetic, grateful adults do to help you guys amplify this cause even more? And I think that works for both Liberty United and for the Never Again movement. What can we do to help amplify your message?
You want to go first, Cara?
You know, I was going to ask you a question, like what could adults, do to help you guys over there? But that's a really good question. I think, we have been raising money for at-risk kids now for 6 years, and we are continuing to do that and are branching out in a lot of different ways. So if you want to go to our website at libertyunited.com and see how you can get involved and how you can see what we're doing and see if that appeals to you, that would be great. And I think find in your heart a way that you want to help, and in a way it'll almost come to you. I feel like once you start seeking that, it will also come to you, and just commit to it. When the headlines go along, it's natural in a way to sort of move on to something else. And let's try not to forget about any of the, it's always one too many victims, and let's just keep this something that we as everyone here in this country can do something about.
Yeah, Diego, what about you?
So us at Never Again, we've actually created a big event that everybody can kind of participate. March 24th, the March for Our Lives. I'm sure everybody's heard of it by now. Absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody can come out. Everybody can plan their own marches. I know it's hard, but like, if you really want to help out, have the entire world marching at the same time. Really get the message to our politicians, to our representatives, so that they can actually see that America is on our side. America's on the side of children's lives, not shooters. So, but join us for March for Our Lives. Come up to Washington, schedule your own marches. Everybody can have a little fun at this little event.
Awesome.
It's gonna be big.
That's great. Well, so guys, that leads into me wrapping up this show. Guys, this has been such a wonderful conversation. I am so happy, Cara and Diego, that you have been able to come on and join us. So for those of you viewers at home, I've made a little list of some things that you can do to help, because we want to start mobilizing people. And we even came up with a name with you for our viewers at home. You're going to be our MFAs. You are our Mobilize for Action. Okay? So we are mobilizing you for action. So what we want to do is we want to give you some things to do. First off, you can go to libertyunited.com and buy some of the wonderful jewelry that Cara is selling. And that can help out with helping at-risk teens. You can text ACT to 64433. That is ACT to 64433 to join everytown.org. And Everytown helps fight gun violence across the country. They will help get you involved if you need some ideas. Also, like Diego said, create your own event or find your local March for Our Lives event and get out there and, raise your voice. Let people know what you believe. And we can make a difference in the world. It seems hard, it seems impossible, but we're gonna do it. So all that being said, Diego, Cara, thank you so much for joining us. We are just so happy and thrilled that you guys took some time to come talk with us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Jinx.
Absolutely. Guys, that's it. We'll see you later.
Thanks for watching, yeah.
Guys, thanks so much for joining us this week. This has been an amazing conversation. We've been so happy to have Diego join and to have Cara join. Make sure to go check out Liberty United. Make sure to check out everytown.org and, be giving support to all these wonderful organizations that are trying to end gun violence. Also, make sure you like our Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like us on YouTube. Do all the things. And make sure you're adding your voices in the comments. We will be here again next week, Sunday, 10:30. We're going to do it all over again. We're going to have another conversation. We want you to be there. We'll see you then.